Hey guys, so I am here with a kind of work log style thing of my Widowmaker cosplay, and this video is just all about her bodysuit. I didn't get too much footage because I work on different parts off and on, and I had to wait for like memory cards to upload to the computer, and it was so many hours of footage, so sorry if this is a bit jumpy and it doesn't show exactly everything I did, but yeah, hopefully this might help some of you. So what I've done here is taken that pattern that you see in the picture from McCall's, just the basic bodysuit pattern, and traced that out onto muslin fabric because that's like a super cheap fabric and that's usually what's made to create mock-ups, and that's what I'm doing here, is creating a mock-up of the bodysuit. I cut out the pattern, modded it as needed, and then I'm pinning it together to try it on, and I will do about like 3 versions of this until I finally get one that I like and that it fits correctly and everything. So this is the first one, and you'll see me probably do this a couple more times. So this is me unpinning that first trial run to make the changes I needed to make onto a entirely new cut of muslin. As you can see, I drew on it with Sharpie while I was wearing it to make little notes and tell myself, hey, you need to widen this or take this in. And that's what I'm doing here. Once I created the final pattern, I traced that onto the actual fabric I'll be using for the Widowmaker bodysuit, or that I did use, I guess no longer I will be using, I used it. Anyways, this fabric is from Yaya Han's cosplay fabric line, and it's the Ultra Preme fabric. So you'll see that I just kind of lay the fabric or the pattern down onto the fabric a lot because this fabric is very unforgiving if you put holes in it. So I was trying to avoid pinning it as much as possible. So here I am sewing it together, and I went ahead and pinned this part because I pinned it on the very edge, on the part that was going to be on the inside of the costume, so it didn't really matter if it had like little tiny holes in it or not. Sorry about it going off screen here a little bit. I didn't realize that the camera wasn't capturing this, but I'm just pinning stuff anyways to get ready to sew more, so yeah. For the lining around her bodysuit, I just used bias tape, and here I am just going along and pinning all of the bias tape to every part of her bodysuit that has it. So along the open little V in the neck and in the back as well. To make that triangle part that is along the lining in the front of her bodysuit, you'll probably see it a little bit later, I couldn't find fabric that matched the bias tape close enough, so here I am actually just sewing together a bunch of pieces of bias tape and then ironing it out to get rid of the folds that it has and make it as flat and like unnoticeable as possible. Then I'll be turning it into a little diamond shape and sewing that where it goes. I know, I should probably be using a real surface made to iron on rather than this desk that I don't know what its tabletop is made out of, but it's definitely not something I should probably be ironing on. And finally, I am just sewing all of that lining on. I don't have any footage of me sewing on the rest of her little details, but I just used black fabric to cut out the shapes I needed and then sewed them into the correct places. So here I am using puff paint because that's the only thing they had that had the right colors I needed, and I just squirting that out onto like a little palette and then using a brush to apply it so that it doesn't actually get puffy. And I'm using these to make her tattoos. I had traced them from the computer onto a piece of paper into the right size I needed, and then once I got it to the size I needed, I made a makeshift like light box using my glass tabletop and a cell phone light, like the flashlight on it, and trace that onto the fabric. Luckily the fabric was see-through enough where it wasn't really hard to do, and I just traced it on with pencil, and now I'm going over it with paint. I did this to also make the spider tattoo that is on the back, but I don't have footage of that. Real quick note is I swear I had footage of the leg parts of her bodysuit, but I can't seem to find it. So if those pop up eventually again at some point, I will make a separate video for that. So that is it for this work log thing, whatever you want to call it. This is all of the footage I have as far as Widowmaker's bodysuit goes. But if you have any questions or anything, I am more than happy to help and give as much advice as I can. Overall, I hope you guys enjoyed this video and found it helpful. Thanks for watching and have a lovely day.